Human factors at NATS is all about maximising the human performance of our controllers. We look at it in terms of their situation awareness, their workload, how they work as a team and communicate with each other. And how they communicate with the system as well. And as we move towards automation, it's more about how they're going to actually communicate with the system and make sure that they're working as a team with the technology as well. And then as we move forward as well, it's about trying to get user acceptance. We have to have users involved throughout the design process to make sure that they're happy with the systems that we're putting in place. So human factors is part of the Directorate of Safety at NATS. So we work for the Directorate of Safety, but we also work on projects as well where we're implementing new systems into the operation. So there's around about 26 of us now, and we all have backgrounds in ergonomics, human factors or occupational psychology, and there's a couple who have come from the operation and they were ATCs or controllers, and then they've gone away and done some courses in human factors, and then they've come back and joined the human factors team. And it's really nice to have a good mix of people within the human factors team. You need people with a really good understanding of the softer side of psychology, and then you need some with more engineering understanding so that they can be focusing on the HMI design. And then you've got a really good mix of the team. We've got people who specialise in training as well and incident investigation. It's grown over the last 10 years. It's really gradually grown, and as we're getting to the point where we're trying to implement a lot of the lessons that have come out of CESAR, we've had to increase the team to be able to be involved in all of the projects. There's so much change going on at the same time. We've really had to increase the resources. But also, even with 26 people, we're finding it difficult to cover the whole range of things that are going on. So it's really about developing a safety culture within the organisation so that people throughout the organisation are implementing safety and human factors. So one of the projects that I was involved in was implementing time-based separation at Heathrow. So in this case, we're putting indicators on the final approach that help the controllers judge down to a decimal of a mile. But it was quite difficult for the controllers to be able to not focus too much on those indicators. So we decided that we would only implement them for wake pairs, and then we would give some supplementary information as well that would enable them to judge where those indicators were going to be. We also made quite an important decision to ensure the controller was judging the turn onto the base leg, so they were kept engaged in the thinking process, and they had to take into account the wind speed, the aircraft type, so that they weren't just over relying on the tools. And then once they made that turn onto base leg themselves, then the indicator would come up. So those are some of the changes that human factors recommended. Well, it's really important to learn from each other, and as I say, one of the most important things at NATS is that all of our controllers have a good appreciation of some of the human factors issues. So they're thinking about it all of the time, and if they find they have a problem with a system, they can actually articulate what it is about that problem. Is it because they can't manage their workload? Is it because their visual scan has been disrupted? Is it because they can't see something quite well enough? And that makes it really important that we have people like controllers coming to these sorts of events, but also so that we can hear from the controllers to see how they understand human factors, and it's just a really good exchange of ideas. It's also very interesting to hear from the pilots as well in terms of the complexity that they have to cope with, and it explains some of the reasons why there's human error on their side as well.